1-point loss in Houston, and how the Warriors lost is going to be the subject of conversation tomorrow. We know Bonte has that radio show, but we have our show right now. This is Dubs Talk, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. That's Zena, Keita. I'm Kerith, Burke. So yeah, in a 1-point loss, it's not necessarily the last thing you saw, the last thing that went wrong that lost the game. But oh my goodness, when you have these kind of words from Steve Kerr after a game, when you have this sort of frantic ending, we need to talk about this because this loss means the Warriors are not going to Las Vegas. Their Emirates Cup run is over. From the Rockets' perspective, the curse is over.
It's broken.
15 straight wins by the Warriors did not turn into a Sweet 16. I don't know, Zena, just emotionally, where are you at with this game?
My mouth was dropped, like actively dropped, watching the last few seconds of that game. I'm still gathering my words. I'm happy that we're here. Now we have an outlet. We'll do it all together, folks. We're going to break down this game and figure out what the hell happened in the last ending of that game and why are the Warriors not going to Vegas.
Okay, and I need to see it again because every time you see video, you notice something new.
You learn something new,
listen,
right.
Okay, let's go to what happened. One of the final possessions here. This is Steph Curry, ball in his hands, guarded by Brooks. Has a nice step back there. But he shot that with 11 seconds.
Correct. And you not only see 11 seconds on the game clock, you have 8 seconds on the shot clock. This was poor clock management by Steph Curry. Now, I understand many people are going to say, but he makes that shot. That's a go-to shot. That step back is his.
Yep, that's a
However,
dagger.
That's a
dagger.
night-night. That's a night-night. However, clock management, you are up 1. You want to minimize as much time as the Houston Rockets can have to potentially get a defensive board and go the other way. You don't want them to have time to set anything up. Even if they call a timeout, to be able to move the ball up the court and set something up on the sideline, give them as minimal time as possible to execute something. 8 seconds on the shot clock, 11 seconds on the game clock, entirely too much time.
And we're just talking about Steph right there. We didn't even get to the part where everybody was scrambling for the ball. What looked like a jump ball situation based on the way that the referees had called the game. They called a foul instead. I believe the replay showed Kuminga did sort of hook Green there. Okay. Okay.
Now, but even before that, we're learning something new every time we watch that video.
Can we see it again, if that's possible?
The first melee was with Gary Payton. The second.
Yes.
Okay?
Fred VanVleet.
And Fred VanVleet came over him to get the ball loose. So here we go.
Watch again. Okay. And I thought
now you can call that VanVleet reach over with his left arm. That could have been a foul. If you're going to call the JK foul, call the other foul of VanVleet going across. There it is.
Okay.
Hit his arm, let the ball loose. That was the exact same. Now listen, Jonathan Kuminga does hit the neck, so maybe that's what gave the aggression for what Bill Kennedy, the referee, made that decision to call a foul. But again, it is very true. In a game in which teams are fighting for a position in the NBA Cup, in a game where teams have been fighting all night. This game was in the trenches. Both teams were incredibly physical, fighting tooth and nail for every possession. You're going to allow that to be the moment? That's how a team, the Rockets, are going to be able to decide whether they're going to win or not, is off of a foul 80 feet away from the basket, and then free throws? Terrible ending. Terrible ending.
Yeah, and it looked like when Gary Payton thought he had possession, the Warriors were calling timeout. When Jalen Green had possession, the Rockets were calling timeout. Instead, the call was a loose ball foul, sending Jalen Green to the free throw line. He iced it by making the 2, and that's how we get a 91-90 game. A rock fight, that's what Tim Roy says, a rock fight, and I like that. Listen, okay, we've done enough talking. Steve Kerr was icy cold post-game, like scary. Take a listen to how Steve is digesting how this game ended.
I've never seen a loose ball foul on a jump ball situation 80 feet from the basket with the game on the line. I've never seen that. I think I saw it in college one time 30 years ago. Never seen it in the NBA. That is, unconscionable. I don't even understand what just happened. Loose ball, diving on the floor, 80 feet from the basket, and you're going to give a guy 2 free throws to decide the game when people are scrambling for the ball. Just give them a timeout. Give them a timeout and let the players decide the game. That's how you officiate, especially because the game was a complete wrestling match. You know, they didn't call anything. Steph Curry got hit on the elbow, plain as day on a jump shot, just clubbed right on there, no call. So you've established you're just not going to call anything throughout the game. It's a physical game. We're going to call it a loose ball foul on a jump ball situation with guys diving on the floor with the game on the line. This is a billion-dollar industry. You got people's jobs on the line. I am stunned. I am stunned. I give the Rockets credit. They battled back. They played great defense all night. But I feel for our guys. Our guys battled back, played their asses off, and deserved to win that game, or at least have a chance for one stop at the end to finish the game. And that was taken from us by a call that I don't think an elementary school referee would have made, because that guy would have had feel and said, you know what, I'm not going to decide a game on a loose ball 80 feet from the basket.
It's the elementary school comment that makes me feel like Steve might get fined here. I'm following everything he says. When there were no calls in the game, when it was a physical game, and that call at the end didn't match the feel of the game.
Right.
That's where players and coaches just want consistency.
Correct.
And I understand that.
Yeah, it felt as if the referees bailed Houston out, gave them an opportunity to close this game out, not in the way that it got to that point, which was through physicality, through tough battling for possession, back and forth between these two teams. Instead, go to the free throw line. Get the points there. We'll see what happens. Can you make your free throws? And that always feels unfair. That always feels as if you've been cheated when you battled so hard throughout the entire game and it comes down to 2 free throws.
Okay, now sideways, maybe one of the benefits of Steph taking that shot with 11 seconds left was after Jaylen Brown hit the 2 free throws to have the what would be the winning bucket, 91-90. The Warriors had 3.5 seconds left to draw something up, to see if they could get the ball in Steph's hands, to see if they could get a final shot up. And this is what happens. Let's take a look. Podziemski trying to inbound, bothered. It goes back to him? Was that an air ball? Did that get deflected? Was that just not even close? I thought this would be a 5-second violation, actually.
I thought it was too.
What?
I absolutely believed it was going to be 5 seconds. And then here's the thing. This is so interesting to see these two plays run parallel to each other in consecutive order. You have a play in which people are on the ground, fighting, battling, trying to get the ball, trying to get possession, and it's bailed out by a foul call. And here you go again, battling on a sideline out of bounds play, making sure, defending, declining any options for the Warriors by the Rockets defense, and it plays out. And that's exactly what the Warriors wanted a chance to do against the Rockets. Go ahead, call the jump ball down on the floor. Let's get our chance to go do the same thing that they ended up doing against the Warriors in that final possession. And credit to the Rockets. Tari Eason played amazing defense on Steph Curry, made it impossible for him to have the time to set up a 3-point shot. And yeah, that play was not set up for Brandon Podziemski. And if anything, it would have been Steph Curry out on the sideline if it was for him to get the ball in and then get it right back.
Gotcha.
But with the length and the activity from the Rockets, he had no choice but to give that to Brandon Podziemski. And hey, Brandon Podziemski hit a shot like that earlier in the game, a nice little quick Steph-like 3. So it wasn't like he couldn't hit it, but definitely not the person you wanted to take that shot. It's just who the Rockets allowed you to take that shot.
Yeah, so good defense on behalf of the Rockets.
Correct.
Who did they want? Yeah, and everybody knew the ball was going to go to Steph.
Absolutely.
But Steph had to make something out of nothing there, the way he was being defended. Pods is the quickest guy, stepped right into bounds, and just did not have that. So that's the last chance the Warriors had. I mean, they had their chances in this game. We need to talk about some big problems here because they went up 6 points with 3 minutes left, and they did not score again. So once again, in a loss, we're talking about a scoring drought. Once again, in a loss, we're talking about turnovers. 22 turnovers, giving the Rockets 30 points. Oof. Nearly a third of their points. Okay, so the Warriors did things to doom themselves, and then decision-making, even Steph Curry on that poor decision-making.
Absolutely.
Like, no one is immune for these criticisms about decision-making. Steve Kerr saying at the end of this one, yeah, Steph feels terrible.
He mentioned Draymond particularly feels terrible. When you think about that play Draymond had where JK slipped to the basket, perfectly what you want to have happen. Houston Rockets were overplaying the perimeter defense switches all night. Every time there was a ball screen, every time there was some sort of contact, ball handoff, whatever it was that the Warriors were setting up on the perimeter, Houston was overplaying it and they were switching it. They can do that. They got all these 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", crazy arm, wingspan type players that can do that and keep someone in front of them. But what happens, basic basketball, if people are overplaying you or if they're overplaying the screen, you slip. You slip. You slip, and JK did that. Draymond saw him, and instead of maybe trying to play the angle by getting to someone else, allowing JK to repost and get his man on his back, he threw it over the defense and threw it out of bounds. That was one of the last plays
one of the turnovers
that they had, one of those last turnovers. And so there were several turnovers like that where you saw the Warriors not looking to try and get the ball over the defense. Can't do that. You can't do that against the Rockets. They're too big.
5th turnover as
it
well.
was
And then
Draymond's
additionally
5th.
at the end of the game, the Warriors had 2 24-second violations. Okay?
Yes.
So,
okay.
A 1-point loss for many, many reasons. All right, when we come back on Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep Road, let's focus on Draymond a little bit more because he had a tall task. Let's see how he did, and we've got some video evidence too.
Tall turn.
Dubs Talk Live is presented by Mancini Sleep World. Visit Mancini Sleep World for the year-end clearance sale. Save big on premium mattresses plus free delivery. Hurry in now or visit us online at sleepworld.com.
Hey everybody on YouTube, I am trying to pull up the
YouTube.
comments right now.
What's
I am
up?
so curious about the tone in here. How are you?
I
guys
am
feeling?
very curious.
Oh my goodness. Dubs were playing rushed. As bad as they played, all GP2 had to do was call a timeout or hold the ball. Yes, I think in that scramble though, it was.
Fred VanVleet hit the ball out.
Yeah.
And what's so crazy, if you go look at the play-by-play, part of the NBA, wherever you want to look at the Brock score and the play-by-play, it states Gary Payton II, bad pass.
Did it?
Jalen Green steal, yes.
Okay.
So that's how it was characterized, was as a bad pass rather than Van Vliet coming over and tipping the ball out
Who's he
before
passing
he could
to?
grab.
You have to have possession to pass.
That's my point. That's my point. There we are.
Those elementary refs.
Like,
Shh, they can't find me.
yeah, they can't find you, girl. You good.
They can't find me.
We right here, YouTube. We're right here.
Anda says who's more frustrated, the chat, Kerr, or Kerith and Zena, or all of the above.
Let's
I
choose
mean,
all of
you
the
know.
above.
No, you're right. Look, somebody else mentioned free throws. The Warriors went 4 of 9 tonight. Listen, Warriors had their chances to win this game. You look at the Houston Rockets going 6 of 27, 22% from 3. They shot poorly. The Warriors defense did well from there. Like the Rockets, I was like, if the Rockets made 2 more of those, this would have been it would have felt like way more like a runaway game.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right.
There's more to talk about. It wasn't just that final few minutes.
No,
There's
I mean
a lot
that's
there.
the lasting impression. But when you start the game with 14 turnovers, maybe that's a problem too. The ref said, "Not tonight, Warriors."
Girl.
No, you're all good. Welcome back to Dubs Talk Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. So when the Warriors play in a 15th clutch game, as we're thinking about producing this show with our wonderful producer, Rochelle, we have to sort of prepare for a win. We have to prepare for a loss. And one of the things that we wanted to spotlight, especially in a win, was the job that Draymond Green was doing on Alperen Şengün toward the end of this game. So this piece of video that we had in mind landed a little better in a win, but we still want to show you this. This video shows like a big theme for Draymond. So let's take a look here, because this is 6'6" Draymond guarding 6'11" Şengün. Is this the one right here, trying to prevent him?
But
Well,
this,
is
yes.
Steph Curry. What's
yes.
going on here?
Well, you can kind of see Draymond in
Okay.
the corner, but here we are. Let's focus in.
There it is. Yeah.
Now,
So, go ahead.
Let me break this down for you. Whenever you're going against a post that likes to play with their back to the basket, it's incredibly important that you don't let them feel you. And what you saw even before Şengün was making his move, if you start this back up, even before Şengün was making his move, you saw Draymond Green moving his feet to ensure that he did not get solid footing on him. You saw Şengün trying to get, literally, if I could physically show it to you. No.
Okay.
I'm not going to post you up right here, KB.
I will stand up at this desk if you want to.
When you're a post player and you're trying to find how to, get somebody on your back, if you're a defender, if you got your defender behind you, you're coached to get in the middle of their stance. And that's how you're supposed to post up. Mm-hmm. Now, if you are the defender, you want to make sure that they don't get to the middle of your base. Okay. At any point, because the second they get to the middle of you, they can spin off you either way, which you saw Şengün consistently trying to do. But what was Draymond doing? He kept pulling the chair from under him, pulling the chair, moving around him. Yeah. And that is an irritant. If you are a post player and you can't find that person that you're trying to sit down on and truly use your strength and your size on, you get frustrated. And that's the thing that you saw Draymond learn from. Because in the first quarter, Şengün had him. He kept doing that Dirk Nowitzki turnaround jumper. He kept finding other ways to score off him. But once Draymond understood, oh, this is what you want to do? I just can't let you feel me. I'm going to be there, but you can't find me. And that was when you saw the difference in the way that Şengün was able to score. It had to be off of offensive rebounds. It had to be off of cuts. It wasn't just back to the basket, good moves, spin moves, etc.
Yeah, because he arrived at 26, 11, and 5, Şengün did, which that's a strong game for him. But at the end, in a close finish, that's where I want Draymond Green on him. That's 13.
Well, he was out. Remember, Şengün gets taken out at the end of the games.
No, I'm saying like in those moments where the Warriors have their momentum, where they have their lead, because that was around the 4:30 mark when we were showing you that video. So that's the Warriors building that 6-point lead, wanting to make sure they can hang on to it.
Yep.
But also that piece of video was Draymond playing with 4 fouls as well.
Oh.
So he's got to play smart defense, make sure from his perspective, okay, he cannot get to 5 because then in a close game, if they went to overtime again, you have to have Draymond on the floor. So all of these things going through Draymond's mind, we just wanted to show you that piece of video as far as
it's impressive.
Playing very smart, intense defense on a critical player for the Rockets.
And he had 5 fouls against the Timberwolves the other night too. Right. And he can play in that way where he understands I can't allow them to feel me or even post me up or whatever, because not only does it jeopardize my foul count, it also could potentially allow them to get a bucket easily as well.
Yeah, there you go. All right, and at the end of that video that we showed you, that ended with a Jonathan Kuminga 3.
Yes,
okay.
It did.
Jonathan Kuminga's night.
Went back the other way. And there was a lot of great opportunities, particularly in that third quarter, in which you saw defense turning into offense. And before we started this game, in the pregame, we talked, you and I, Kerith, we talked about what Jonathan Kuminga needed to do in this game, what he did against the Rockets last week, what he did against the Timberwolves on Sunday, and what he needed to do tonight. And this is what you're seeing on the screen, folks. Jonathan Kuminga attacking the paint, pressuring the paint, forcing defenders to make decisions in front of him. This is the most athletic player on this team. He can score at will. He can get to his spots at will. And when he's given the time, he can create. And you saw him go 8 of 20 tonight in 36 minutes. This is what he's capable of doing, getting into the paint, pressuring, creating shots. And this is exciting for the Warriors because you need that alongside Steph Curry. Yeah. What we did not see towards the end of the game, what should have happened, was more offense running to get JK going downhill. Yeah. It all stopped. Yeah. The downhill motions, the slashing towards the basket, all of it seemed to slow down. That's what you saw in those 24-second shot clock violations, where the Houston Rockets defense kept the Warriors pushed out to the perimeter. They couldn't get into their actions, couldn't get towards the basket, and the offense slowed down.
Well, and one of the continuing thoughts for this whole season is, how does JK play the 4 and Draymond play the 4? How do these guys coexist? We've seen Draymond even agree to take a back seat in those moments when Jonathan Kuminga should really start this game. In this one, it didn't make sense. Both of them get to start because Andrew Wiggins was out of this one. But one of the things I wanted to mention about Draymond guarding Şengün, that's fine in a crunch time moment where you need to get a win, but they don't want him guarding the other team's centers 82 games in his 13th season. You do it in this situation because you're playing for the win, but that's not ideal because you see what Draymond has to do physically in order to make that possible. Okay, so JK, the leading scorer for the Warriors with 20, played 36 minutes, had a block, only 2 fouls in this game for JK. One more player we want to spotlight is Brandon Podziemski. Had a couple of threes, one of them hit at a beautiful time. We thought we'd be talking about this differently in a win, but we can still show you this one.
Again,
Just,
another
I mean,
Steph-like three. See your defender, size him up, boom, little jab step,
The
put
jab
that ball
step
up.
did it for me right there.
Beautiful.
Yep, because he was contested. He had somebody
Correct.
on it and still shot it, which shows after he was slumping a little bit, shoot or shoot, you have to take that one, keep going. Well, maybe
And
you
there's-
didn't have to take it.
Listen,
But-
I'm happy he took this one, but
Yeah.
it is, what I'll tell you is this is incredibly important for Podziemski's confidence especially.
Yes.
You see how hype he was after that?
Yes.
It wasn't just anybody in front of him. Mind you, the Rockets defense, top 5 in the league. They are phenomenal at the three-point defense, they're phenomenal at perimeter defense. Anyone on their roster being in front of you when you shoot a three like that, big deal.
Okay.
That was Jabari Smith Jr. That's not
Jab
a
stepped
casual.
him. He got him. He
That's
got a
not a
second.
casual rocket. That is a tall, long rocket. So
Okay.
for Podziemski to be able to jab step, get that three up in his face, and that's the second best three-point shooter on the Rockets, mind you. Impressive stuff from
Yep.
Podziemski.
Yeah, I felt like we might have heard what he said, but like through the television. I don't know. How about just a or whatever? But that's a moment where the Warriors are starting to feel themselves. That's where they feel like they are in control of this game, and boy, do the wheels fall off. Yeah. So we've talked about scoring droughts, turnovers, decision making in this one. Also need to mention that that was a good play on the other end because that three started with a Buddy Hield steal.
Yes.
On the other end.
And let's talk quickly. Buddy Hield, great defensive player as well. He had the highest plus minus, I believe, of the team tonight. And he made several plays throughout the night where he was just often involved. Even if they didn't end up in the Warriors' possession, you saw him getting deflections. You saw him getting involved in the defense. And that also helps his offense get going. Or even when his offense isn't going, it helps him stay engaged with the game. So good job on Buddy Hield being able to still be active and relevant on the defensive end if he wasn't on the offensive.
There's a long conversation with Buddy, one-on-one exclusive that he did with Dalton Johnson on Dubs Talk, the podcast. So if you want more insights about Buddy Hield, who this guy is, because he is a ray of sunshine, be sure to listen to that podcast. All right, when Dubs Talk, the show returns, we're going to talk about the schedule. What does it mean now that the Warriors are not going to Vegas? Steve Kerr said they packed for Vegas. Oh, well. All right, we'll take a look ahead. All right, Malvin is asking, not being able to close games, is this the new Warriors' identity? Body of work lately indicates yes. Still searching for combinations, or if they arrive at a combination, the decision-making in those final moments has been suspect.
Now, yeah, I would agree with that. If someone would ask me, is the first 10 games more characteristic of the Warriors than these last 5 games? I would say the first 10 games are more characteristic of the Warriors' capability. It is the quarter break or the quarter moment of the season. It's a long season ahead, and there are still things that the Warriors need to work through, particularly figuring out what lineups they want to stick with. Do they want to do the 13-man situation? Are they going to lock it down at 9? You know, all of these things are still up in the air. I personally, when it comes to NBA teams, January, February.
Yeah?
That tells me what you're really made of.
Those are also the dog days, too.
And that's why.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
That's why. So I personally, yes, this doesn't look good, but this is a lot of tape. This is a lot for you guys, you guys being the Warriors, for them to go back and review and fix and figure out what do we want to do when now we're going to get into the trenches of the season. How do we get to the playoffs? That's when things lock in. If you remember last year with the Warriors, things looked crazy in November and December.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until January, February that things locked in.
Yeah, I mean, when you start counting up your really bad losses of a season, when are they coming? Because there are going to be 5, 6, maybe even 7 of those ones that you were like,
you can count on them.
I cannot believe we had losses like this. When do they come? What month are they coming in? Yeah, early in the season, dog days. Who's All right, welcome back to Dubstock Live, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World. Let's take a look at the schedule ahead.
Ooh,
Zena, I see 3 days off, and then I see Klay Thompson coming to town, and then 3 days off. So I know the Warriors aren't going to get that money. They're not going to make it to the championship. They're going to come home after packing for what could have been an 11-day road trip. They were kind of laughing about that at practice. We don't know if we should pack for 2 days, pack for 11 days. Well, you got your answer. On Sunday, Klay Day. Klay Day Part 2.
Was the Bay even ready? I don't know if the Bay is prepared.
No.
Get your hats back out, folks. He's coming back to town. No,
Right?
I mean, I won't be here.
Guess who is going to Vegas?
Sorry,
Why do you have to bring that up?
Sorry.
Can you explain why she's not leaving? She's
I'll be
Warriors
covering the entire cup with the NBA Daily of The Athletic.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I thought I was going to be there also talking about the Warriors.
Right.
But unfortunately, Bucks and Hawks and ugh, I'm sorry.
Do you play blackjack or anything? Do you?
No,
I
don't gamble at all.
No, because you like your money. You like to keep
I do
it?
like my money. It's important these days to keep track of it.
Yes. Okay.
But yeah, no, I'm excited just because.
Yeah.
I'm curious of what the atmosphere is going to be.
Yeah.
I don't know what the
That's a good
NBA Cup last year was like. This year it seems like the players are really locked in. There's a lot more respect, I think, given to the cup. People now know what it is. It's branded, you know? So I feel like maybe there's a little bit more there,
Yeah,
but
it's a little more
I'm
established.
excited.
How does Adam Silver feel that Dylan Brooks is going to Vegas and not Steph Curry? I don't know. We'll leave that be. Okay.
How do the broadcasters?
Klay Thompson coming to town. Just looking at some of his stats this season, he's playing about 28 minutes, 13 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 2 assists there.
Y'all, Dallas is fun. I don't know if PJ Washington will be back for this game, but they're a good team, and they're playing well. The Warriors defense is going to have to come try and shut down that perimeter, but Najee Marshall has stepped up. Gary Trent Jr. has stepped up. You're seeing a lot of just talent come out of that.
So their stock is rising?
I absolutely believe that.
The
And when
West
PJ comes back, did you see how they played against OKC?
I saw that Klay had 5 threes. I kind of focus on Klay.
At one point, Dallas Mavericks were down like a few points. Luka had 5. This is the talent that's happening with Dallas right now, where Kyrie and Klay Thompson and the rest of their crew are finding ways to score even without Luka.
Yeah, he is the stat leader.
He is the stat leader for sure.
But okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get another glimpse of them after the Warriors get a little bit of rest. Hopefully Andrew Wiggins is back for that one. I will be there Sunday. You know where Zena will be. And thank you so much for being here with us, breaking down this game. We'll see you on the next episode of Dubstock, brought to you by Mancini Sleep World.
That was perfect.
Thank you. Timing that right. Boom, boom, boom. Zena in Vegas, party time. That's what it says here.
Bottle service.
It is a work trip.
Yeah, it is.
But you do get to pack some fun things. Like there will be a reporter party.
I'm sure there will be tons of good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to see some of my WNBA girlies too that are out there.
Have you been to Vegas before?
I have.
Okay. You lose track of time.
Absolutely.
And it smells like smoke in there.
All the time.
Yeah. That's all. That's just fun. Yeah.
And it's gonna be cool seeing everyone from around the NBA space in one place. All the reporters will be at the Park MGM, I believe, where the games are. Oh, I don't know if they tell. That's where the games are, guys.
Oh, then yeah.
That's where the games are, guys.
Okay.
That's where we're gonna be.
She's not revealing anything. I thought.
Yeah, I'm not ruining anything. No, the games will be there. So all the reporters will be at Park MGM, hanging out, and so it'll be cool to see some other people that I've seen and interacted with on socials, talking about their respective teams. Gonna be very interesting matchups. It's a little dry. It's a little dry.
It is fun to go to Vegas for stuff like this because there are so many reporters there. You get to put a face with the name or a face with the tweets or whatever, and you're like, hey, I like what you're about, and you get to meet people, and it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm excited.
Enjoy yourself.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'll come back and let you guys know what the Warriors missed out on.
Listen.
Apparently some money, but yeah, other than that.
Money. In exchange for rest,
that's very true.
Yeah.
The Warriors better come back.
Listen, when you have
crazy on
one
Sunday, then.
game in 7 days, That's pretty good. That is a perk of this
Yeah,
thing. If you
that's very true.
I mean, you didn't get that last year.
That's
so.
very true. And there's some teams like aren't playing at all in this midst. Like there was one, I think the one game on Monday. There was 2 games yesterday, 2 games today.
A lengthy break for everybody.
So there's been some breaks there. I haven't looked at the calendar for like Friday and Saturday for everybody else, but either way.
I think we're done.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Appreciate you. See you this weekend. Bye.